What's going on, winners? Your boy Loso 2.0. And today we're going to talk about on this great and magnificent Sunday. First of all, I do want to say something. Starting now, every Sunday, episodes will be dropped by 8 p.m. on Sunday every single week. Starting now, right? And that's something that I'm making a commitment to myself. I'm trying to make a commitment to the audience. There'll be YouTube videos dropped every Sunday by 8 p.m. If there is not, hit me up on the gram at Loso 2.0 underscore. Hit me up on Facebook. There will be one every single time, right? Leading up to that. Okay. So today, being as this is Great Sunday, we are going to talk about in, my series, and as I'm teaching about leadership to you guys, the whole concept of my page is going to be teaching you guys leadership lessons that are not learned from some random context or anything like that. They're going to be pulled from the greatest motivational book that there ever was. It is actually always ranked #1, no matter where you're going. And I want you also to comment below right now, what book do you think that is? What book do you think is the #1 motivational book ever? Give you a second. And I'm going to go straight up to tell you that it is the Bible. So I'm going to talk about in this series about the leadership lessons that I'm learning from the Bible to implement into life to then become the greatest leader that there ever was, and to become the greatest motivational speaker that there ever was, and influence, impact to everyone too as well. Yeah, you see Martin Luther King, you see Malcolm X, some of these great absolute leaders as there was before. Well, welcome to Carlos Henry and Loso 2.0, right? So today we are going to first start off with Matthew 1 through 5 and the things that you know from this. But before we are finished up with Matthew 1 through 5, you will know the advantages of imperfect leadership. You will learn how the great leaders have clarity. You will learn how to gain buy-in. You learn how to create movement, and you will know how to serve first, which is one of the most important things that you can do as a leader by the time the end of this video is up. Okay, so click this subscribe to this channel before I get started with everything. Like this video, share it with your friends and family, and we are about to get started on this new clear thing of Loso 2.0, how I'm pulling stuff from the Bible and putting it into leadership terms. You will learn a lot of stuff about metaphysical stuff, a lot of leadership stuff, a lot of storytelling from the Bible, learn about some of the parables, but you'll also see some of my speeches too as well on my page as I go through and I talk to different schools and different programs as I grow my speaking business and coaching business and leadership. Okay, so first, imperfect leadership. So I'm first tip pull it from the Bible. Jesus, in Matthew 1, they're talking about Jesus's lineage. Jesus did not come from a lineage of people who were imperfect, right? Being as though he came from the tribe of Judah, he was a Jew. Judah even before, helped sacrifice thought he sacrificed his brother and literally just sold him over to slavery, right? Even Judah, right? Judah, we know about Abraham. We know about all the people. If you notice in the Bible, right? A lot of the people that God helped, a lot of people that God made a covenant with, none of them were perfect. None of them were. No one in this world is perfect, except for, no only person that is perfect is the Most High, who is not a person, that is a God. He is the most perfect being. No one else is perfect. And because of this, God takes these people with these sins and all these sinners and makes them into who they are today. So when you're in leadership, being imperfect actually is an advantage. Because why? And this is not even just in leadership, right? Because as you guys know, with leadership comes a couple of things, right? It comes brand marketing, which I teach in my coaching course. It teaches communication skills as well, and delegation and stuff like that. But imperfect actually makes it better. Let me tell you from like a business standpoint, right? When I'm talking to you and I am talking as an entrepreneur, sometimes when you're talking and you're becoming an influencer and you're influencing people, people start to get this Superman type of syndrome where they think that, oh, you're just so great. You're so great. Superman, just to tell you a story about this, I actually learned this recently. It's like Superman, the comic book was, it was cool to get a dude who was just super, super powerful, could knock everybody out, stuff like that. But he never actually became popular until they started introducing villains. He never actually became popular until they introduced kryptonite. Now, if you know kryptonite is the one thing that makes Superman weak. that is going to be the same for you. What is going to make you great is not the fact that you just can knock down all these walls, that you're just so perfect. What makes you imperfect is you sharing your different things. What makes me great is when I share my stories, when I'm talking to these schools and stuff like that about how, I was troubled youth growing up. There was things going on, right? This is what makes it better. That's what makes the story so much better. No one wants to know about a person who was perfect from day one and came out and was just the best person ever, had no trials, no tribulations, just came out. It's not realistic, right? They know that there's going to be trials, there's going to be tribulations, there's going to be things. They want to learn from these people that have been through these things. That's what's going to make you connect with your audience when it comes to brand marketing, but it's also what's going to help you connect with just your team in leadership, right? You're going to be able to connect with someone when you can actually seriously say that, you know what, I'm not perfect. And they understand that you're not perfect, right? That's what makes me connect with any person that I'm listening to on not even TV, just on YouTube, or maybe I'm listening to them on Instagram, whatever it is, whatever type of influencer it is. That's what makes me so excited about it, is the fact that I can look through and like, oh, you know what, this person been through the ringer. That's exciting to me because now it makes me connect with them on a deeper level. So the first step in imperfect leadership is actually tell them your flaws, tell them the things that you happen, right? With my team, when sometimes I don't know, I'm like, yo, listen, I don't know, but I'm gonna try to figure out the answer. Because sometimes they look for me for the answers. So let me go find them that has somebody's answers. I always talk about all the time my team members. Oh, I don't know anything. There's sometimes I have to reach out to one of my team members, and I'm learning from my team members too as well, right? Don't feel like you're above anybody else. You're not perfect. Jesus was not perfect. His family was not perfect, but he was able to pick up the things that, had from it, right? So imperfect leadership, there is advantages to that. 2, great leaders have clarity. So the men in the beginning, they followed the star, right? But you have to have clarity. We actually talked about this in the Bible today. It was a Hebrew verse. Do not quote me on this, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I always wanted to be the person who could tell you verses right off the top of their head, but I'm just not that good at that. My memory's not that good. But I remember stories because Jesus talked in parables. God talked in parables. I remember the stories, and the stories get me hyped, and they make me teach lessons. They help me learn and stuff like that. So we talked about today that faith is this, it's like I forgot what it is, like this substance of seeing something when it's not there, or something like that. It was someone learns of that, but it was a Hebrew actual verse that we learned in church today, right? And that's the thing about having clarity. It's not only just having that vision, but it's really bringing out that vision into like fruition. I'm gonna give you an example why clarity is so important in leadership, right? So as you guys know, if you go down my page and you look at all the content that I was posting since I actually started posting content in 2020, okay? 2020, that was 5 years ago. When I posted content before, I would just read a book and I'll just teach somebody about it. So I'll read a book on sales, teach somebody about it. I read a book on personal development, teach somebody about it. But then I was like, I want to do copywriting. I want to do real estate. I want to do stocks, right? I mean, I feel like all entrepreneurs, we just dip. In the beginning, we just start dipping our, chip and everything, right? We just try and put our hands in different baskets at first, just to try to see what we like and stuff, which I recommend to try to learn what you like, right? But then after that, I started, I'm going to be a public speaker. I want to do personal development. I want to be a motivational speaker. So I started just speaking about motivation. But then it was like, what am I speaking motivation about, right? Like being a motivational speaker is just not it, right? There's some motivational speakers who they only speak to sports teams. There's some that only speak to businesses. There's some that only speak to colleges and students. Like there's different motivational speakers, but then there's different topics, right? And this is something I learned. And then I'm like, wait, there's people that talk about like Tony Robbins and Eric Thomas. They talk about multiple topics. But then they started off with something. I realized Tony Robbins first started off with teaching people how to stop smoking cigarettes. Isn't that crazy? The guy who he taught people how to start smoking cigarettes. Right now, he talks about business. He has his hands in the health industry about like new technology when it comes to health. He freaking talks about relationships. He does all of these stuff, but he started off with teaching someone how to stop smoking cigarettes. So I never got this clarity, and you're never going to get this clarity until you invest in yourself. Now, what do I mean by this? Right? Like me, I have a mini course and stuff like that I sell on leadership that teaches about this, brand marketing, communication skills, the vision, and all stuff like that. But no, I had to spend 10 grand, no, over 10 grand, but this program is 10 grand that I recently spent last year on a speaking business. And what am I speaking about? But it's weird because it actually helped with my actual coaching business too as well, which, I don't know how that came hand in hand, because also too, I was learning from great speakers like, Grant Baldwin helped me get that actual clarity, but learning from great speakers like Dan Kennedy, looking at how Eric Thomas does it, looking at how Martin Luther King and all those different people do it too as well. You got to have clarity, right? And that's when I started having clarity. I started to get more speaking gigs, right? And now I know that I'm speaking to leaders. I'm inspiring themselves to reckon themselves as extraordinary so they can actually become contributing members to their own community. All right. You can't be a contributing member to your community if you don't make money. You have to have money to have impact. But impact is more important. So that's why I'm teaching leaders how to continue to build up whatever their organization, their business, whatever it is. And then when they build that up with their leadership, now they can make themselves more money. They can now contribute that, give that stuff back and get into philanthropy. Because that's what I'm doing now too as well, right? Building up my speaking business, building up my coaching business, but I'm also giving my money back when I can, right? Paying for different kids to get done in programs, paying for track programs, paying for different things like that too as well. I'm trying to help everybody, my own community. So, but it had to start with that clarity, right? You have to have that clarity first. And then I had that clarity. I started getting speaking gigs out the wazoo, right? I had one January, February, March, April, May. I had five this year, when last year I only had two. Year before that, I only had one. So it's like it's been over doubled from last year, right? Regardless if you're getting paid or not, it's about the fact that they're starting to come in. I have been getting paid too as well. So it's like it's just all growing because of the clarity that I have. No one's gonna follow someone who doesn't know what they're doing, right? So you gotta figure out what you're doing. Third thing is to gain buy-in, right? John the Baptist was the ultimate idea. If you want to see how a leader was, John the Baptist was it too as well, right? He's the one that even baptized Jesus. But you have to gain that buy-in. How do you gain that buy-in though? I think the biggest way to gain that buy-in in leadership is to be in the trenches with them. As you know, I run seven AT&T stores, about to be 8 AT&T stores for a business that I know, Smart Connect, right? So for this business though, there's some leaders in this business, in the role that I'm in, that don't even go into the store. But the thing is, you're not required technically to go into the store at this level. At this level, it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just about coaching. It's like, but I'm in there and especially the hours I'm running, I don't even have to be in there that much. But I'm in there every single day, in the trenches with them, coaching them up. But then when I'm not coaching them up, I'm in the trenches anyway, teaching them, yo, you gotta do this, that, and the third, right? You know, we're in the trenches with them, selling with them. When they need a day off or if there's no coverage, yo, I'm in the trenches and I'm showing them, I'm closing at the percentage that I'm asking them to do. I'm not going to tell you to do something that I can't do myself. And I figured out myself. After I figured out myself, then I'm in there doing it. Then I'm teaching you it too as well, right? Because I'm in there doing it, right? So that's what it really comes down to. If you want to gain buy-in from your team, they got to see that blood, sweat, and tears. They got to see you up in the trenches with them, right? That's how you gain buy-in as a leader. Even on the basketball court, right? How I gained leadership and became the captain of my basketball team is because I'm dodging for those loose balls. I'm taking charges. I'm doing all the loose stuff that people don't want to do. So to show them that, yo, I'm willing to do this so that we can win the game. And then if I want to sacrifice my body, put my body on the line, you should be able to sacrifice maybe not taking as many shots. Maybe you should be able to sacrifice passing the ball a little bit more. Maybe you should sacrifice getting that rebound. You got to be able to gain buy-in. They have to see that you're working hard. They have to see that you're in the trenches too as well. And that's something that I really show with my team. And as I grow my business and my business team, it's the same thing I want them to see is like, yo, I'm in the churches with you. I'm not just telling you to do this, that, and third and just trying to delegate. No, I'm in here with you, yo. You got to get 10 leads. I'm getting 20, right? So lock in with your team and show them that you're working hard too as well. Number 4 is to create movement, right? So Jesus actually showed why. That's how you create movement, right? If you tell someone, if I'm telling you, yo, every single day, and look, this is actually a story that I learned, right? So there's this tradition in this family where they always cut the ham off, right? I guess it was like some type of story where I don't know anything about this pork, but there's this tradition of Thanksgiving where this family always cut half the ham and put it into the thing and heat it up, right? So it was like the daughter was like, Mom, why do you do that? He's like, hey, listen, this is just what my mom always taught me. You always cut the ham in half, whatever, right? So then the mom was like, all right, and the daughter was like, all right, let me ask the grandma. Asked the grandma, hey, why do you always cut the ham? Hey, that's something that my mom always taught me, right? You always cut the ham. So they're just blindly following what they said. And then they asked the great grandma, like, why are you always cutting ham? She was like, listen, because the pot wasn't big enough for me to fit the whole ham in. So I always had to cut it in half in order to put it in there, right? And they were just blindlessly doing something. Now they created movement from that, but that's the thing I'm saying. That's back then, right? People did what they were told. I'll be honest with you. You go to work, you get a job, whatever. Blah, blah. Even nowadays, but this actually should have been back then too as well, is they have to know why, right? If I tell my team, yo, I want you to sell this many internet. Why? Because you're going to get paid. This is the third, right? You have to have a strong reason why. I talk about this in my speech. The vehicle does not matter as much as long as you have a strong reason why. So that's the biggest thing, is having that strong reason why, but also telling them why they're doing something, because someone's more inclined to do something if they know why they're doing it, right? So show them the reason why. That's the fourth thing. And then the last step too as well is serve first. And I talked about you. Jesus was the ultimate symbol of humility, right? Like, he was humble. You as a leader, you cannot be. I literally had leaders before, right, on my team that are literally straight up arguing with each other. Oh, I'm this over you. I'm this over you. I'm this over you. Jesus was humble though, right? Great leaders are humble. I don't ever go into the store and say, hey, I make this much more money than you. I do this, that, and the third. No, because you build an ego. When you build an ego, then you feel more inclined to, like, when you build an ego like that, you know what I mean? When you build a monster up like that with yourself, then you start to not work as hard because now your ego is too, you start to get comfortable. Never get comfortable, because there's always someone out there that's trying to replace you. And that's something that I fell victim to a lot of times. It's just literally just getting a little too comfortable, but I always put myself in check. That's why I built consequences for my goals, right? If I don't get a goal done, I have to do this consequence to get myself together. If I don't get all my goals, 90% of my goals done, I got to take a cold shower. If I don't get something done twice a day, I have to run a mile for everything that I don't get done 2 days in a row. You have to actually build consequences, because I want to be humble, right? I want to serve. Right? You have to serve. I told you, I've been public speaking, posting content for 5 years straight, no money before I started getting paid. Eric Thomas, 10 years before he blew up, right? I'm still not even where I want to be. My life has been going on track in a better direction, but I'm not where I want to be, right? He posted free videos for 10 years straight and then blew up. 10 years. That's a lot of dedication. Every week, once a week, every Monday. Thank God it's Monday. Every single, once a week, and then blew up finally. That's the same thing that I'm doing here. That's what I said right here, is just blowing up. Just keep that tenacity, keep that humility, keep serving others, right? So the 5 concepts that we learned today, boom, imperfect leadership. There's an advantage to imperfect leadership. I'm gonna actually open them up to you guys too as well. Great leaders have clarity. 3, gain your buy-in. 4, create movement. And 5, serve first. Always serve first, right? So that's really all I have for you guys today, man. I want you, again, to click subscribe to this channel, like it, whatever. There's going to be videos dropped every Sunday by 8 p.m. Every single Sunday, right? There's going to be a new series that I'm putting out there. It might be, like I said, might be some speeches on there. You're going to see me talking about this too as well. But every single Sunday, 8 p.m., there's going to be a new video. So continue to keep tuning into this. Again, I want you guys to keep killing the day. Winners win, losers lose, and pray for success like this. 2.0. I'll see you guys next week.